Shalom, Kahala Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bashem Kakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them, and the bishops, Salakia, uh, and all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity. Shalom, salutations, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm Brother Yashawan. This lesson is going into more division. Okay, that is going to lead to shots being fired and the chaos that is going to bring about uh, the quick and rapid succession of the end of this thing. All right, so with that, this is Luke 12 and 51, because you gotta understand. The Most High is bringing this, all right, through His Son. Luke 12 and 51, suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth. I tell you, nay, but rather division. So this is Yahweh Shai speaking, letting you know, no peace, right? There's no justice, there's no peace, all right? Right here in the NLT, it says, no, I have come to divide people against each other, all right? Letting you know how close He is, all right? Now, quickly, we'll go to Isaiah, because this is the time we're in, you know, and these precepts are just going to keep coming out, no matter what. You use the same precept. Well, this is the time we're in. Let's see, it's not letting me make a determination. So, all right, this is the Isaiah 19 and 2 in the King James, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, the Americans against the Americans, the left against the right, the Democrats against the Republicans, the blacks against the whites. What do you mean the black? And they shall fight everyone against his brother. Jacob and Esau are brothers. All right? The 2/3 and everyone against his neighbor. Who's neighbors? Jacob's neighbors. 2/3 against the 1/3. City against city and kingdom against kingdom. So here's your division and here's your fight. All right? The Civil War. All of it. All right? And how are they doing it? They're pushing it. They're dividing, right? And the Spirit of the Lord is the one that's dividing. All right, so let's start right here. This is Travis at Prepared Homestead. Today, you are their enemy. Who is there? Well, the powers that be, if you will. What are they doing? They're putting the left against the right. They're calling the maggots a threat. Right? They're threatening them. You're going to need an F-15. All right? Who is the, we'll get into that, but let's listen to Travis first. All right? And he's talking to his people, which are Trump. And he's gonna say, I'm in the middle, but we know that that's not true. Okay? If you're an Edomite, you're secretly voting for Trump, even though he's looking real bad right now. So let's listen to this.
I debated a lot on whether or not to talk about this morning, and it's because as much as I do bring in politics a little to, what we do, I really try to stay away from it. It's mostly from the perspective of how it affects us. So I want to make sure that I'm clear with that. I don't consider myself a Republican or even a MAGA Republican, and I'm not putting Republicans and MAGA Republicans down. I don't think there's anything wrong. I just consider myself a strong independent. I don't believe that any man on this planet is our savior and it's going to fix everything. I believe that Donald Trump was the right man at the right time, did a lot of good, could have done a lot of things differently and better, and, that's probably as far as I'll go with that. But I don't poo-poo anyone that considers themselves that. But the fact is, like I mentioned, I believe yesterday, is the left, the globalists, they don't see anything different. They want to see the whole world is either on their side or against them. And if you listened at all, which I only listened to portions, I'll admit, I couldn't stomach it all. Joe Biden's speech last night, which is where I'm going to go with this, made it very clear that even the moderate Republicans are kind of on their side. So,
And that's division right there. Oh, the Republicans are on the side of the Democrats. See, that's putting division within the Republican Party, saying that some of them are actually on the side of the Democrat. Further division.
regardless of what you consider yourself, I assure you, you're pro-gun, pro-life, pro-privacy, independent, against all this globalist stuff, against all this gender ideology stuff, then you're considered a MAGA Republican. It's just how it is. You could have never voted for a Republican in your life. It doesn't matter to them. And so really that's why I'm talking about this, because I believe that it does apply to all of us. Folks, even mainstream media sources, from what I could see this morning, are saying they're in shock of Joe Biden's speech. They're in shock that it was such a hard-line, divisive speech, even though, of course, he was, even in the speech, talking
divisive. That's where that word divide comes from.
Unity and stuff. They have no interest in unity. They have one interest, and that's their agenda. And they're getting it accomplished. Not just Democrats, not just the liberal left in America, but this globalist cabal all over the world. They're all together. They go by different names in different regions and countries. But this has been going on for decades, folks. And I think the thing is they believe now that they've attained and created enough technology and stuff that they can finally do the things that they've always dreamed of.
Witchcraft, mind control.
You and I are in their crosshairs. We are the very possibly the one thing that stands in their way of this. Folks that don't want to be part of it. Folks that speak out against it. And because of that, you know what happens when something's in your crosshairs. That's right. Now you can say, well, I'm gonna get off of YouTube and I'm gonna get off the internet. Unfortunately, that's probably not gonna work. You've been on it long enough that they already know who you are. I hear that all the time from people. Man, things are getting bad. I'm gonna get off the internet. I know for a fact that they've been collecting that kind of data for almost 20 years, pretty much since the internet was created. In fact, a lot of people believe that the internet was specifically created for those purposes of collecting all of your data. So if you've ever been on the internet, your data's already been collected. So let's move on. From a preparedness perspective, and I'm really going to try to keep it there in this video and not go off on tangents. From a preparedness perspective, I think over the next couple of months, and that's leading up to the midterm elections, we've got, I think I looked at 67 days. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as of the making of this video, I believe it's 67 days to the election. I have a feeling that we could see some things happening. Lockdowns, civil disturbances, even martial law, or just things that paint conservatives, MAGA Republicans, in a really, really bad light.
Okay, now let's listen to that again, because this is the crux of the issue. And he's perfectly on point because this is what they're setting up to do. This video was from today. We'll play portions of what happened in the previous days to enable him to say this with clarity. Now listen again.
I have a feeling that we could see some things happening. Lockdowns, civil disturbances, even martial law,
Let me go back a little because he gives a time frame.
Making of this video, I believe it's 67 days to the election.
So within the 67 days, that's when these things can go down.
Since we've got, I think I looked at 67 days. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as of the making of this video, I believe it's 67 days to the election. I have a feeling that we could see some things happening. Lockdowns, civil disturbances, even martial law, or just things that paint conservatives, MAGA Republicans, in a really, really bad light.
Now, what could cause that? Okay, 67 days. If they indict this guy, get him in a courtroom quick enough, okay, pronounce him guilty and slap cuffs on him, right? You could do anything at that point. You can send out a false flag, troops. Oh, well, MAGA shot this up. MAGA shot this up. And you can start this thing. Or MAGA might just go out and do it because their leader is in cuffs. All right? Ultimately, when you understand that Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is the one bringing this, okay, it doesn't really matter who is, being a puppet. You know that it's coming. Why? Because Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai said he's bringing the division.
And it's quite possible that this election may go like the last election. And the only reason I'm saying that is part of his speech last night that I listened to. If you listened to it, he said, I will not, basically he was kind of making a pledge. He said, I will not allow them to, disturb, or whatever the word he used, this election coming up. I will not allow them to take it over and all that kind of stuff. In a way, pledging. And I think we've seen that they probably have no limits to what they would do to ensure their rule, their globalist rule.
Stand now with thine enchantments. Okay, so let's see what happened before this, okay, which is pretty much contained in this video 21 hours ago, right here on Don't Speak News with Johnny Storm. Okay, Biden says right-wing Americans will need F-15 to fight against country. That's a direct threat. Okay, and then they get a gay black woman. Okay, who is Esau's direct, even though she's his lieutenant, right? But she's against men. So Esau's mad at that. She's so-called black, right? And she's a woman, gay black woman. How perfectly can you get somebody? And then she uses language like our democracy, our freedom. And to Esau, you ain't got no freedom. This ain't your democracy. This is we stole this fair and square. So let's watch Johnny.
Yesterday, this was breaking news where President Biden warned brave right-wing Americans, if you want to fight against the country, you need an F-15. Everyone, Johnny Storm, Don't Speak News.
Okay, now he's coming. What Johnny is explaining here is the powers that be, the government, is going after maggots and making them the de facto face of terrorism. Okay, and this is all a ruse. This is all distraction from the real target, which is the men of the Lord, really. Right? They're the ones that don't need an F-15. Okay? They're the ones that will be able to, with spiritual power, to overcome. No weapon formed against thee shall prosper. No F-15, no swarm drones, no robot dogs. Okay? And this is coming into fruition, so let's listen. This is kind of lengthy, so I might cut it halfway through.
Here we go. This is what Biden said yesterday. I'll just go ahead and play the video and let you hear it for yourselves.
And for those brave right-wing Americans who say it's all about keeping America's independent and safe, if you want to fight against the country, you need an F-15. You need something a little more than a gun.
And of course, this was in reference to his Safer America plan to reduce gun crimes nationwide. And so, for those of us who want to keep our guns and keep our individual rights and individual liberties, he's saying that, you know, if we want to fight against his tyranny, then we need an F-15. Well, not his tyranny, but, you know, the powers that be in this world. And so, to go along with that, they're going to double down today. As now more divide and conquer comes up. First, we have, you know, the gun issue yesterday, gun control issue. And then today, you know, more divide and conquer with MAGA Republicans against the rest of the country. So half and half, basically. And now the White House is saying that MAGA Republicans are an extreme threat to the country. So once again, I'll just go down here and I'll play the video for you and let you listen to their own words. Here we go.
The president thinks that there is an extremist threat to our democracy. The president has been clear as he can be on that particular piece when we talk about a democracy, when we talk about our freedoms. The way that he sees is the MAGA Republicans are the most energized part of the Republican Party. This is an extreme threat to our democracy, to our freedom, to our rights.
So in other words, we can't have anybody asserting, you know, any individuality. And we definitely can't have any MAGA Republicans. You know, he says it's a threat to the nation itself. So is this how civil wars get started? Well, it's a good question. That's what they're trying to do. This is more divide and conquer. And just to add to the shite show.
What do you call it? What and conquer? Divide. Letting you know that the Most High is sending his son very quickly here because it's going to be under that great division.
This is more divide and conquer. And just to add to the shite show, right? Here we go. They're saying here that the FBI raid against the Proud Boys was staged, and Gavin McInnes staged his own arrest. So the alleged arrest last week of Proud Boys founder Gavin McInnes appears to have been nothing more than a staged prank. McInnes was seen walking off the screen during a live broadcast on Thursday after law enforcement allegedly took him into custody for questioning. Associates of McInnes, such as comedian Josh Denny, claimed later that day that the far-right figure was rotting away in jail for daring to question authority. Just got off the phone with our people. It's not a bit. Then he wrote, Gavin was against going to January 6th. He was against Charlottesville, but he's rotting away in jail because he dared to question authority. But questions over the legitimacy of the alleged arrest quickly arose. Numerous journalists who looked into the matter noticed that no evidence existed of any arrest. Police in New York, where McInnes lives and works, denied taking him into custody. No announcements were made by federal law enforcement either. Court records also failed to show that McInnes had been charged. So, a rival McInnes said on Monday that the whole thing had been staged. According to Owen Benjamin, a far-right comedian known for conspiracy theorists and Holocaust denial, of course, they got to assassinate, you know, the messenger every single time, right? Released what he claimed were screenshots of text messages from McInnes admitting that the so-called raid was merely a prank. So there you go. Just more crap added to the shite show that we got going on in the world today.
And the word Babylon means confusion. So if they're staging their own arrests and lying about it, as it says here, prank, don't tell them. You going to reveal it's a prank? Because I have friends writing blogs about it. Never. He's never going to tell. So you're just going to pretend the FBI raided your studio? Tons of people are texting me freaking out. I never said they did. Wait a minute. You see the devil here? Devil can't help but lie. They come forth from the womb speaking lies. Okay? Never said they did. True. True. Deception. Deception. Don't tell. Don't tell what? That it was a prank. Deception. True. Deception. That's how this devil gets down.
He staged his own arrest. And so just unreal. They stage things all the time, and yet they run around trying to expose the other side for staging things all the time. Both sides are doing it, guys. Don't fall
Welcome to Babylon, the land of confusion.
for this stuff. This is more theater. This is more divide and conquer. And what we're experiencing now with this whole Trump thing is Trump derangement syndrome. It's more
Whoa, Trump derangement syndrome. They're going to go into the scriptures and try to say that this is strong delusion. Okay, but when you read the scriptures, the strong delusion is going towards the house of Israel, right? For this reason, because they receive not the love of the truth. Who is that? That's the 2/3.
derangement syndrome. It's more widespread than you think. This is a video that Brother Paul, Antichrist 45, put out yesterday on his channel, and I agree with it. I do believe that what we are witnessing with Trump and this derangement syndrome is the strong delusion talked about in 2 Thessalonians 2. It's here. It's here, and it all centers around him, Trump, the Antichrist. So,
And as we know, there are many antichrists. So we'll end it off right there. I'll get a couple of precepts on the way out. So this is going to bring that civil war, all right? That's what it is. And I mean, the prophecies are just going to speed up, right, as we get to the 0 hour, all right? All of this must come before the chipping stations are out, and you know how close we are at that time. So 2 Ezra 15 and 14? Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh. Esau is the sword, and their destruction draweth nigh. One people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Okay? There's your civil war, your race war. Okay? Let's talk about right here. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So what are we to do right now? Okay? We're supposed to be watching very closely for the first shot. It won't be Crispus Attucks. Okay? It's going to be Johnny Johnson. All right? When these, whatever, if it's staged, if it's authentic, that somebody, some MAGA, is going to start shooting. And they're not interested in shooting at each other. They're interested in shooting at Jake. They're going to go out, well, we're going after BLM. It's their fault. We're going after Antifa. It's their fault. Antifa, BLM is all you niggers. Because only thing we got left is slipping through our fingers. We got to go kill some niggers. Hey, this is how they think. This is how Edomite thinks. So it is what it is. We're about to go into some very, very tough times. All right? That have never been seen on the face of the earth. And then the miracles, right? The secret monsters, right? Very, very obtuse, different, okay? Asymmetric things are going to happen, things that we're not used to, all right? Chariots everywhere, all right? So stay alert, keep your eye peeled, all right? And know what to do when that time comes. All right, so we hope that the elect, you brothers and few sisters, were edified with that. We're going to say shalom.